Hi, my name is Robert. I'm a volunteer with the Great Divide Trail Association, and I'm going to be going over the gear that I use when I'm backpacking for trips in length of 4 to 7 days, the gear that I use and why I like to use it. Working from the outside of my pack, this is a 75-liter Deuter. It has an internal frame. I really like it. It works well for my backpacking and my travel. More than anything, when you're looking for a backpack, make sure that it fits you and works for your trips. On the outside of my pack, I have a Garmin InReach. It's a two-way satellite communication device. It pairs with your phone through Bluetooth, so it can make your texting easier. This one has a GPS function in it so that you can sort of track your trip statistics. And that's information that I really enjoy, but more importantly, it allows that two-way communication so that you can let people know if there's any change in your plans other than emergencies. I carry a few extra carabiners so that I can make use of the bear hangs that I've provided by some of the Parks Canada's or Alberta Parks campsites. And if I'm random camping or somewhere where they don't provide bear safety infrastructure, then I can use these to hang my gear up. On this side of my backpack, I have my water bottle, 750 milliliters, which works well for my hiking. A lot of people prefer to carry a 1-liter Nalgene. Find a water bottle that you like and that works for you. I carry my tripod because I like to use it for taking nighttime photos, but also photos so that I can get the entire group or my hiking partners out with me and not having to do sort of a at arm's reach selfie. Moving on to this side of the backpack, I have my tent poles and stakes, and then we have our fuel for the stove that we use. And rotating all the way around. On my hip belt, I carry the bear spray that we use. It's really important that it's readily accessible. In the event that you ever need to use it, you don't want to be fumbling or having to reach around in your bag for it. And then in this nice little side pocket here, I carry my camera. So it's easily accessible, it's covered, and it's in a zip pocket so it can stay pretty safe when I'm on the trail. My hiking pants, generally I'll have my lip chap or things like that in my pockets, and I find that having my camera in here is easier. Moving into my backpack, in the brain of my backpack, I have my water filtration unit. It's just an MSR hand pump. I really like it. Provides you a little bit of a break when you're having to refill your water bottles. Just lets you catch up on your breath. I carry a paper copy of the map that I'm going to be using in that area because technology can fail you, whether your phone battery dies or whatever device you're using as a navigational thing fails. It's really important to carry a physical copy backup. As well with that, I carry a compass with a mirror for backsighting. If you're going out with a compass, you want to make sure that it is set to the proper declination of the map and the year that you're using. If you're unfamiliar with compass declination, there's lots of available tutorials on YouTube, as well as the Outdoor Council of Canada, NOLS, National Outdoor Leadership School. It's a really nice piece of equipment to have with you. Likewise, I carry a field book, which I just use more or less as a journal when I'm out camping and hiking. Just my thoughts on the day, thoughts on the terrain that we moved through, the trails that we took, and how I felt that day. Moving into the brain, on this interior pocket, I have a toque. We all know that the weather in the Rockies can be pretty variable, and I really enjoy sleeping with them on chilly days, as well as just having it available if suddenly you have a snow squall or something like that roll in, and the weather becomes such that you want a nice warm head. As well, I carry fire starters and an extra lighter. This is primarily for an emergency purpose in the event that something goes wrong and you really do need to utilize a fire to stave off hypothermia or cold-related conditions. Be aware that when you're using them or having a fire that you want to make sure that you're adhering to that park's regulations about where they can have fires. As well, for comfort and emergency purposes, I carry a pack of hand warmers in my interior brain. Just a comfort component. I will use and carry my headlamp. Walking around camp at night is really nice, going to the bathroom, anything of that sort. This is just a Petzl model. I like it. It's 2 AAA batteries. The thing I like about it is that it has a red light feature or function, which enables you to have sort of that night vision without it obstructing how your eyes have adjusted to the darkness. And that's what I carry on the interior of my bag. Moving into the body of it, I carry a first aid kit. This is a group size first aid kit. You can obviously get ones smaller that are more appropriate to your group or your size. This is just the one that I have and that I carry. And it's nice if you happen to come across others that either at camp or along the trail that might need some extra moleskin or an extra band-aid, that you can be the individual that happens to have that surplus equipment. This is the tent that I use. It is a freestanding tent, hence why there's the tent poles there. It is a Camper 3 by Mech. It's a 3-person tent. It works really well for our purposes when we're out and about. A fair bit of real estate, easily sets up, and we really like it. One of the other pieces that I will always carry is a guides tarp. This is a silicone guides tarp by Mech. There's lots of others available, whether it's the Sil tarp or just a Canadian Tire version. It's nice having that so you can set one up over the picnic tables or where you're cooking your food, or expanding the area of real estate outside of your tent to keep dry, make a little bit of a vestibule so you can store your bags underneath it. As well, a few years ago a friend introduced me to backcountry pillows. This is just a Thermarest foam pillow. I think it compresses down quite nicely. But after spending a few summers on it, I won't leave this piece behind. It's really nice having a pillow in the backcountry. As well, I use a Thermarest. This is a foam cell one. It has an R value of about 2.4. Inflates quite nicely, packs down what I think is quite reasonably. And I've been out at -6 and colder with it, and I've never had any issues with it freezing to the ground or losing heat to conduction through it. So I've really enjoyed it. As well, with my sleeping setup, I will always carry a nice big pair of wool socks. These are my sleeping socks. They either will live in the bottom of my bag or in my sleeping bag, and they only get worn when I'm going to bed. And it's just really nice at the end of the day being able to put on a nice pair of dry, clean, warm socks. Then, this is a Ursack. It's a bear-resistant food sack. Again, packs down pretty light. More than anything, it has Kevlar weaving in it, so it's pretty hard for the bears to get through. It is available with a smell-proof bag liner that you can put inside of it, and then with the strings here you can either tie it to place it in a bear locker, tie it to a bear hang, or if you're camping where none of the bear-safe infrastructure is provided, you can easily hang it up on one of your own made bear hangs. And if you're in somewhere where that's not an option, you can just tie it to the tree as securely as possible. And the bears have a very, very, very difficult time accessing what is inside. Moving into what I use to cook, this is an MSR Whisper Light. Works really well for our purposes. I really like having my hot coffee in the morning as well as hot chocolate or tea in camp in the evening. One of the nice things about the Whisper Light is that it packs down quite nicely. It runs on a mix of fuels, depending on which region you're in and how available white gas is. The nicest thing about the Whisper Light is that it comes with a small maintenance kit, and it is designed in such a way that you should be able to do any required maintenance on it in the field with that provided maintenance kit. Has a windscreen as well, and that's something that's really nice on those blustery days. It boils water really quite quickly, and then comes with instructions and the little maintenance kit there. And then the cook set that I use is a GSI 2-person cook set. Inside it has a frying pan, a pot, a spatula, a serving spoon. All of it nests within itself. Has 2 cups, 2 bowls that again nest within each other. And also comes with a little scrubby and a drying pad, as well as these containers here that I use for the dish soap, a little bit of olive oil, and then a little bit of a spice rack. Then, lastly, the sleeping bag that I use in this backpack just fits at the very bottom here. It has its own little compartment. The sleeping bag that I use is a Mech Phoenix. It's no longer available. It is a -20 down composite bag. I really like it. Again, I've been out in the summer with it. In the summer it's pretty toasty, but I would much rather be warm and comfortable than having to sort of put on more layers when I'm already in bed to be comfortable. So, it's a mummy bag. I really like it. Find a sleeping bag that works well for you, that's rated to the temperatures that you expect to be in out. In the Canadian Rockies, of course, during the summer, -5 is not uncommon. So just be aware of that and have some fantastic adventures this summer. Cheers.
Hey everybody, I'm Shar. I'm a 2-time GDT through hiker, the first time in 2018 solo, and again last summer in 2020 with my partner. Now, I backpacked for a long time using heavier traditional gear, but when I decided to do the GDT, I knew I'd want to upgrade a few pieces. So I'll show you the gear that worked for me. My base weight ended up at about 16 to 17 pounds. Now, when I decided to buy some lighter weight gear, it was really challenging because I'd never seen any of it before in real life. I ordered and returned 4 different packs before settling on this one. This is a 6 Moon Designs Fusion 65 liters. It's a little bit bigger than I need, but not terribly so when I'm solo and carrying 8 or 10 days worth of food. The thing I like the most about it is the suspension. It has an adjustable torso length so you can really dial in the fit, and the hip belt is really comfortable. It carries like an old school pack. It feels like my old Osprey. I found that the lighter weight packs weren't comfortable for the load that I was carrying. The roll top closure is different from a traditional pack. That took a little bit to get used to, but not too much, since there's a big pocket here to put stuff in to keep it accessible, and then on the shoulder straps and the hip belt as well, there are pockets. My tent is a Z-Pack Solplex. There's a new model of this tent now. It's made of DCF, Dyneema composite fabric, super light. It's supported by my trekking poles. My stakes are groundhog. One possible downside of a single wall tent is that you can get condensation, but you can't beat the weight of this tent, and I find it not too inconvenient to dry it out at lunchtime if I have to. My quilt is an Enlightened Equipment Enigma 950 fill down, rated to -17. I was really nervous about switching to a quilt because it's just so foreign when you're used to a sleeping bag. I used to have a big Western mountaineering bag, and since I'm a cold sleeper, so I went for the warmest quilt that they make. I really love it, and what I love about it that was surprising to me was that it's super comfortable for restless sleepers. In the mummy bag, I used to, twist around in it, and I never used the hood part of it ever. But the quilt is attached to the thermarest, and so you can toss and turn under it, and it's just like you have a nice heavy blanket over you. My thermarest is the X-Therm. I used to have a thermarest with an R value of 2.5, and I felt cold coming up through the ground. So this one with a 6.7 rating is a better choice for me. This is the strap that goes around the thermarest that my quilt attaches to. This is what I carry on the outside of my pack. Earlier I forgot to mention the large side pockets on the pack. In one of them I put my cooking equipment. I have a 1 liter titanium pot. It's bigger than I need for one person, but I like that it fits my stove, which is a Snow Peak, fuel canister, my spoon, and lighter. On the other side I carry my 2 smart water bottles. I like to drink out of a hose, but I'm not fond of hydration bladders. So I stuck a hose in the cap. Works pretty well. Between my 2 bottles is my umbrella. Love the umbrella. I used to really dread backpacking in prolonged rain, and the umbrella has brought me so much more enjoyment to rainy hiking. It also keeps me way warmer than when rain is falling on my head and torso. And the umbrella is surprisingly durable. I have a hands-free setup, and it can handle getting brushed by trees because it can spin a bit. And I've never had it turn inside out from the wind. The brand is Heel and Ox. I was lucky enough to find it on Amazon, so I didn't have to order it from the US. Also on that side pocket is my Deuce of Spades trowel and my maps and compass. In one of the shoulder strap pockets I carry my water purification. I used this on my solo through hike. When I was with my partner, we used a bee-free filter. That was good too, but honestly I prefer the low-tech option of the drops. In the other shoulder strap pocket, carry my gloves. These nitrile gloves are pretty handy for packing up a wet tent, and I wear them if it's pouring. The other gloves are neoprene. They're warm and they can handle a bit of rain, but if they get soaked, they take ages to dry, so I can't recommend them. I think a better option would be wool gloves with waterproof overmitts. Attached to my pack is my bear spray, and InReach. I had the InReach SE before they made the Mini, but I think the Mini would be great too. In my hip belt pockets, I have my phone in one and snacks in the other. In the big pocket on the back of the pack, I'll carry whatever clothing I'll need for the day, maybe my rain pants and definitely my wind shirt. This is what I wore hiking. I haven't delved into the world of ultralight clothing yet, I just wore what I had. My t-shirt is Lululemon. I like that it's long and fitted so it doesn't move around when I'm taking my pack on and off. I have a light Arc'teryx hat, and my shorts are Arc'teryx Palisade pants that I had made into convertibles. I can have a hard time finding clothes that fit me, and I really like these pants, so I had the alteration done. They have 4 zippered pockets, which is handy for staying organized, and I can even fit my bear spray in the side pocket if I'm leaving my pack, but I want to have my bear spray with me. Runners are such a personal choice. Mine are Saucony Exodus ISO 3. I used to hike in boots back in the day, but after trying out runners, I haven't gone back. They're so light and comfortable and practical, especially on the northern sections of the GDT, where there are a lot of water crossings and just generally wet conditions. It would take ages to change out of boots every time. And not only that, just the frustration of changing only to run into a creek 30 seconds later. And aside from that, I don't know how boots could even stay dry in the boggy and wet conditions. My socks are smart wool with an extra light cushion so they dry as fast as possible. My poles are really old. They're black diamond aluminum with a flick lock. I like the idea of carbon pole, but I've snapped a couple of carbon poles skiing, so I know how easily that can happen. Also for hiking, when I'm really relying on this for river crossings and going down steep hills, I wanted something a little more sturdy. I have a long sleeve marmot shirt. It's nice to slip on at lunchtime for an extra layer and it keeps bugs off, but it's not quite what I'm looking for. It's not practical to wear when it's raining because it's loose and it doesn't stay tucked into my rain pants. So I'll have to rethink the long sleeve shirt. My wind shirt is an Arc'teryx Squamish. It's a really great piece to have. It's nice to put on in the morning when it's still cool or if I'm up on a windy ridge. My puffy is a Rab Continuum hoodie. It's nice and cozy. As a cold person, I love my puffy. I also have a icebreaker toque. My rain jacket is Arc'teryx Beta SL. It's durable, does the job. My rain pants are Outdoor Research Helium. This is a new piece actually. They're quite a bit lighter than my old MEC rain pants, but they did the job just fine. Rain pants are a critical piece for me. I had them on the entire Section G. These are the other bits inside my pack, my sleeping clothes. The bottoms are icebreaker 150 weight. The top is a long sleeved icebreaker, a little bit lighter. I have one extra pair of knickers, one pair of socks reserved for sleeping, and one extra for swapping out for hiking. These are Ziploc freezer bags with the zip cut off. When I get to camp and it's cold and I have wet shoes, I change into dry socks, put these over, and then slip my feet back into the wet shoes. I feel a lot warmer when my feet are dry, and it makes eating dinner and doing camp chores a lot more pleasant. Otherwise, I'll wear my Tiva flip-flops. I had a macerated foot once, which is really nasty, and I learned the importance of airing my feet out as much as possible. I have a notebook and pen, a very small light. I don't use a headlamp. I don't night hike. And the only time I need a light is when I'm getting dressed in the morning. My power bank is an Anker 10,000 with the cords, my earbuds. My solo through hike, I used battery tracking with the InReach, and I used the GPS app and camera on my phone. I would need to reassess whether I need this much power if I didn't track with the InReach. And on sections where I wasn't pulling out my phone much, I don't think I'd need a power bank at all. But toilet paper and wet wipes, and in my first aid / repair kit, I have various bandages, polysporin, Tylenol, tweezers, duct tape, needle, safety pin, cord, thermarest repair kit, repair tape, zipper slider for my tent, a buckle, and a smart water cap. My pee bottle, my most important luxury item. No more getting up in the cold and rain in the middle of the night. No more losing sleep because I don't want to get up in the cold and the rain. Love it. I used an Ursack for food storage. They're heavy but so convenient with an OP sack inside. I'm not really a fan of the OP sack. I find them finicky to close and they tear. I think I'll try the smelly proof bags this year. I also have a small Dyneema bag that I put my lunch in. It helps me to stay organized when I don't have to sift through the big Ursack, and I can keep it accessible while the Ursack stays lower down in my pack. In there I'll also keep other smelly stuff like my toothbrush, toothpaste, sunscreen, hand sanitizer, and chapstick, and at night it all goes in the Ursack. So that's everything. My gear choices are always evolving. Between starting and finishing this video, I got the 50-liter version of my backpack and all my gear fit in, so I've already switched that up. But at some point you just got to say what you have is good enough and get out there. That's what I did.
Hey everyone, my name is Jeff and I am a GDT hiker. Last summer I did section C to F and had a blast. This summer I was able to carve out enough time to do section G, and I thought I'd do a quick gear video for what I brought last year and this year basically the same, couple of tweaks this year, just a little bit lighter, but this is my backpack. It's a Palante V2, which means it's the second version of their simple pack. It's a frameless DCF pack. I love it. For my hiking style, it's near perfect. It has a great bottom pocket, which I can stash my food in and eat as I walk. Nice Lycra mesh pockets on the shoulders. And it's just a no-nonsense, low-volume pack that's good for longer days, and base weights, you know, maybe up to 8 pounds, give or take, carries comfortably up to 20 pounds, maybe even up to 25 with a stashable hip belt, which just tucks in right here. Other than that, I'm just going to start going into what I bring on the trail and break it down one section at a time, starting with what I carry on the outside of the pack. Alright, so here's what I carry on the outside of my pack. Let's flip it over and start with the shoulder pockets. I always actually carry a harmonica. This is a 1 ounce harmonica. And I just love having it, just for the joy of having an instrument with you. But also I find that, I think it probably helps alert the bears to my presence. So I do carry that. In the other pocket, I have a Garmin InReach Mini, self-explanatory. I love how that pairs with a smartphone. I got a little bottle of hand sanitizer just kind of hooked to the shoulder strap. On one side, I have a 700 milliliter smart water bottle, light water, whatever, doesn't matter. And then a 1.5 liter Evernew water bladder. The combination of 700 ml and 1.5 liter seemed to work great for me. I found there to be tons of water on the GDT. I carry bear spray. I know some people choose not to. I carried it last year and I'm planning to carry it this year as well. I have a wife, and I actually I had a close range bear encounter last year at about 5 meters just before Moose Pass. And yeah, they're out there, guys. So I feel much more at peace when I carry bear spray. This is my cook kit. Very simple. I cold soak. So this is a small peanut butter jar and a cut off bamboo spoon by Gossamer Gear. That's it on the outside. This here is all the stuff I carry in that big front pocket on the backpack. I just have an assortment of steaks in here in a little steak bag. You know, just MSR groundhog, some shepherd's hooks, and those small blue Eastons you get from Tarp Tent. I have a Tent Lab, poop trowel, deuce of spades, wet ones, toilet paper. This year I'm trying out, well, this is a Canadian version of the Aquamira drops, which I repackaged in those small mini Gossamer Gear dropper bottles. These are the Montbell Dynamo wind pants. This is a DIY Skaha quarter zip wind jacket, 2.1 ounces that a friend made for me, which I absolutely loved. And then Montbell chemise liner gloves, very durable, quite warm. Outdoor Research Ascendant beanie, and then Outdoor Research Active Ice. I think it's called an Uber tube, but basically it's the Outdoor Research version of the buff. So all that stuff I keep accessible on the outside of my pack. I found that as I was hiking, I was needing to layer up or take layers off, you know, because the weather is pretty crazy on the GDT, and so having those options right in the pocket really seemed to help me out. And here's the rest of the stuff that's in the main compartment of my pack, starting from the top and just working my way down. This is the Enlightened Equipment Torrid Apex Synthetic Puffy. I love this thing. Got the lightest one. This thing was so warm. No nonsense. Stayed warm when it was wet. Did everything it was supposed to do. This is just a bunch of weird little things. Some people call this a ditty bag. I have no idea what that even means. Petzl, E-Light. It's an Aki dual port wall charger. I'm not gonna bring that for section G because it's just one section, but I brought it for when I was doing multiple sections. Here's my sawed off toothbrush, a little flosser, and toothpaste. This is a Jackery Mini. It's a 3,300 milliamp charger. They don't make these anymore, but you can get one by Anchor. It's similar. Leukotape on straw. My med kit. That green goo from Gossamer Gear, some pills, Thermarest patch kit, a few extra water purification tabs, a little bit of tenacious tape for repairing my tarp or my gear, sterile non-stick gauze. You can use the Leukotape to bandage your wounds if you get one. Mini Bic, micro USB, lightning to USB, sawed off comb, little mini titanium scissors, mini chapstick, Bronner's in a mini bottle, and then a few elastic bands. Those are handy. For my food, I use one large op sack, odor-proof sack. Right now there's just a whole bunch of dehydrated pinto beans in there just to hold some weight for when I'm doing my warm-up hikes. But yeah, that holds, that combined with a smaller op sack will get me as big as a 6-day food carry. And my shelter system is a 6 Moon Designs Gatewood cape with the Serenity net attached, and this doubles as my rain gear. Sleeping pad. It is a Thermarest ultralight torso length. So I sleep with my food inside my backpack underneath my feet. And I find that ultralights, even though it's an R value of I think 2.2, I was down to -6 Celsius one night and I wasn't cold from the bottom, so sleep socks, just cheapo. Here's the string attachments for my pad for my quilt. And then this is the Big Sky Dream Sleeper inflatable pillow. It's amazing actually. Super comfortable. Cradles your neck really nice. Just put a buff around it at night and use it as a pillowcase, a couple of earplugs. And then my quilt is a Katabatic Gear Flex 22 with 1 ounce overstuffed. Because Canada. Just one more thing about the pack is I do line my backpack with one of those Lightsmith Nyla Flume bags. I mean, my Gatewood cape does cover the backpack in the rain, but for stream crossings, I think it's a good idea to have a backup to make sure that your quilt stays dry. Better safe than sorry. And this is what I hike in just a normal day. I have a Sunday afternoons. I think it's called an adventure hat, wide brim. It's got a back section for covering your neck. That combined with this Columbia Silver Ridge long sleeve shirt enables me to not take any sunscreen. I just hate dealing with sunscreen on the trail. You're hot, you're sweaty, you're trying to remember to reapply it. I don't like it. You're oily, and this enables me to not deal with sunscreen, which is great. This hat also, the brim has a crease and it collapses and folds down really small, so it's easy to fit inside your pack. In my front pocket, I always keep my bug head net. This is Sea to Summit with the insect shield. Worked great. For those of you wondering, will I use one of these? Yeah, you will. I use this every day, guaranteed. I usually have my cell phone in this pocket, which I'm filming with. What else here? Just cheapo shades. Keep those in my pocket when I don't need them. These are Nike Challenger 5-inch inseam quick dry shorts, no underwear. The famous Gossamer Gear LT4 trekking pole, man. Nothing but good things to say about that. These shoes are the Ultra Timp 1.5s, but I also use the Ultra 4.0, the Lone Peak 4.0s, and they're both awesome. For socks, I use whatever. I think these are darn tough. I've used Injinji. Last year I used Injinji through the whole trail. They're great too. I use Walmart gold toe nylon dress socks, just whatever I'm feeling. But that's all the stuff that I hike in. Thanks for watching, you guys. Hope that was helpful. This is all the gear that I will be bringing on the Great Divide Trail. And if you're someone who is considering hiking the GDT, do it. It is mind-blowing. It is my favorite trail. This setup just weighs in just below 8 pounds, 7.8 pounds. It's including the bear spray and the tech and stuff like that. But this would also be a great kit for anywhere where you're in grizzly country, that kind of thing. So if you're someone who needs some help lowering their base weight and you're wanting to enjoy lighter and more immersive outdoor adventures, I'll also leave a link below to my company, Forest Floor Gear Consulting, and love to chat with you about that. Thanks again for watching. Cheers.